Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is going to be the feedback for meditation, group meditation on Sunday, May 14th. And also, I'm going to put this in my Journey Series 103, 103, because there's going to be information that's important here. This is where you can leave in your comment section feedback for the group meditation. Somebody asked me if I could do guided cleanings, and also I guess that was it. But like they have on the Heartfulness channel, I'm not going to do that because I already did those 2 meditations on my Gratefullness meditation channel, which you can find in the description box of any of my videos. And there's a Gratefullness meditation playlist. There's a half-hour one that can be used for an individual sitting, where you connect to the source, or for your cleaning. And there is an hour-long one that can be used for your individual meditation in the morning, and also for group meditation. It's just, an hour-long placeholder, or, whatever it is, right? It helps a little bit. But in that, there is an explanation. There's 3 videos right now on my Gratefullness channel. As of May 14th, 2023, there'll be more later. Right now, there's a playlist and 3 videos, and one is an explanation video, and the other 2 are a half-hour sitting and an hour sitting. And you can use those. And someone said, well, what about new people? There is in my this playlist, my whatever this playlist is called, for this Gratefullness playlist on my Pockets of the Future channel. There is a second video that gives links and explanation where people can read and understand how to do everything. The cleaning, all the rest of it. Plus, you can sit with people. If you have friends or family who want to do this, you can sit with them. You can do the cleaning with them, right? Because it's, that's the kind of thing we're doing here. There's not a centralized authority. I'm an authority in the sense that whatever I say in my videos and my explanation are my understanding of the Sajmark system. And so, that in that sense, but like I'm not going to do what preceptors and other people in the organization, Sajmark organization used to do, and Heartfulness people should be doing, right? Like I'm not going to be able to fill all those gaps in terms of making videos, in terms of all these other things. But you can do it with them. You can explain it. You can show them the links. You can send them all the links. You can go to the video. There's one video, the second video in this playlist here. Might as well look up and get the proper name for it. It's called Gratefullness Meditation Playlist. And in the second video, it is there's all these links. And you go to the description box in that second video, you can find the links. And you can forward those links to your friends and family, or whoever you're talking about the system to, if they're interested in doing it, right? And then you can do it with them. You can help them. You can, you can figure out how to explain the cleaning to them, whatever you're doing in terms of the cleaning and what it's the written literature. With the cleaning, you're using your will force. You're using your will to push out all the daily grossness, the daily, whatever impressions that are formed during the day, and you are using your will force to make those go out of your back in the form of smoke and vapors. And while you're doing that, you have the idea that divine energy, divine light is coming into your heart and filling the front of your heart and your front of your body, and filling out wherever whatever the space it's created through the cleaning process. And that's done for a half hour. And again, you can use the half-hour video on my Gratefullness meditation channel. And so, the links are there, the description's there. Whereas meditation, you're receiving. So meditation, you're open, and the energy's coming to you, and you're just in letting your mind rest on the supposition of divine light, God's love in your heart. And so it's 2 different processes. One's passive, and not, I would say passive, because you're inviting something in, you're opening up to something. Babaji used to say meditation is receiving prayer is begging. Prayer is begging, and meditation is receiving. And so you're receiving God. God's coming to you in the purest form, where oftentimes, most times, people pray for something specific, right? They pray for an outcome. They pray for God to intervene in a situation. Whereas meditation, you're just accepting God in God's purest form, or whatever. You can meditate on anything, but you're receiving that when you're pulling that towards you. You meditate on like a job or a person or something. Your mind gets into a meditative state, and it's like you're manifesting that. You're pulling that towards you. At some point, I might make some kind of explanation for the cleaning I think I've done that though in these playlists. Like I think I've done that already, so I'm not. In fact, I know I did. I explained the practice in one of those videos. So those videos, the first, I don't know, 7 videos of this, of this playlist, the playlist this is going to go on, are imperative to doing the practice. And, you just have to do more than you used to. Like you used to be able to go to a preceptor, and the preceptor would tell you everything you needed to know, and you'd have this contact or whatever. I will create when I get back on I'm busy with all these things, and I got all this work I'm doing outside, and now I got the member thing going on, so I got all these things going on. Just a busy time for me. But what I'm going to do is I'll send out a message on the Gratefullness meditation channel, and I'll let everybody know when I do that. And that can be a thread that people talk about, and it'll be just for people to answer questions and things, or maybe I'll just make a video. That'll be better. I'll make a video there, and I can look at that video, whatever channel I'm on, and answer questions or whatever. Make videos about things to do with those, with people's observations or struggles with the practice, and people can help each other and help people find books and resources, right? So there'll be a community of people, and there'll be a message or a video where people can discuss these things. I'll do a message and a video. I don't know which will work better. You can send a message out from your channel. I think a video would work better because it'll be easier to find. I don't know. Like I don't know how to use the message thing, so that's a liability. But in terms of all that, it has to be, individuals have to do more, which is important because most people didn't do enough, and that's why they quit the practice. They just relied on other people. There's too much passivity. That's an ongoing problem with Sajmarg, and I'm sure even more now with Heartfulness. And so it's up to people to step up and do their part. They have to, you have to figure out how to do it. It's not like I'm here to sell something to you and, and I'm getting commission or something for it. I mean, I'm sure I'm benefiting spiritually for the work I'm doing here, but it isn't like that. I'm sharing what I, know about this system. There's no longer an organization. And so, we have to rely on ourselves and to some extent each other to, manifest the teachings and whatever the knowledge necessary for people to do their practice. So I want to explain something in terms of, there's a story that's a good example of this. There was a while back, my wife and I were driving. My wife was driving, and I saw that on the side of the road there was a couple, and they seemed to be upset and maybe having trouble with the phone signal, and something like that, right? And their car had broken down. And I prayed for them. I prayed that, God would take care of them, whatever would happen, right? Just connecting them and, making sure that would happen. And because of doing the meditation for so many years and the work that's being done on me, my prayers carry more weight than the average person. Because I'm just, I think so. I don't know. I have no proof of that, but that's just the teaching, the Sajmarg system. The more you're connected to God, and I feel like I have a good, connection with God through the Sajmarg system, that the prayers are, more directly, and not only that, you can do other work, right? Like I could, have the idea that, the people are going through cleaning, say, or having the idea that, that they're connecting with the transmission, whatever it is, right? And because of, just years of practice and, I'm certainly better at it now than I would have been before I started Sajmarg, I could help people like that, right? But I don't even think about doing that, right? I could be doing that all the time. It's what the master of the system used to do. The first three masters. I don't think Daji does this. He might have in the beginning, but he certainly isn't doing it now. And it's what preceptors are doing, should be doing as well. And that is when they have a conversation with somebody. It could be somebody at work, it could be a family, a friend, whatever it might be. And they could be doing the spiritual work. They could have the idea the person's being cleaned out, especially if a person comes to you upset. You can have the idea that the cleaning is happening, that they're being cleaned out. And they might, vent and they talk about their problems. They might be crying or whatever. And you're having this idea that they're being cleaned. And as a preceptor, you might even be able to, you should be able to read their condition, see, oh, there's grossness at this point, and have the idea that the grossness is being cleaned out. And then, transmission can be given, even though it's not like the person's meditating. It can be like a sitting. And if you wrote to Master Charge, you said, I could come see you in India, and he was right back and say, sure, you come, during these dates, and he would do the work so that your trip would go smoothly, that you would be, the cleaning process would begin when wherever you received the letter or whatever it was, and you'd go through whatever you needed to go through to open up space so that you could get the maximum benefit from the spiritual energy that's given from him. And then when you go see him, you would come in and you might sit in a circle with other people, and he would transmit and start cleaning everybody, or you specifically. If you said hi, I'm Paul Romano, I'm from America, you say hi, welcome, whatever, and you would feel the current coming to you, this current which I'm talking about in my it'll be the previous video in my my journey series 103. And so when that comes out, so like I talk about the divine current that you just feel much more prevalently now than we used to not feel in heartfulness. But what I'm saying here is the master and the preceptors, but also individual abhyasis could have the idea that people are receiving transmission. You can have the idea that people are going through cleaning. You can pray for them to have the the realization of, or the outcome where they would end up wanting spirituality and wanting to connect with the now Gratefullness Sajmark system, whatever it is, right? Like those are all things that we can do. And like I don't do it. Like, I saw this couple struggling, and the idea came to me, oh, I should pray for them, right? And I almost never do that. And I could. Like I have the ability and I have the capacity to help them in some way, right? At least, have the intention that God has brought into the situation. And who knows how that'll play out, right? But I don't do that. Like, and see, it's not my nature to be a service-oriented person in that way, right? Or care about other people. Like, I just don't. Like, sometimes I do. Sometimes I feel empathy. I can be empathetic, but I don't really, for the most part, right? People write to me with their problems and, ask me for my prayers, and, I'll pray, if there's something like that, right? If I'm reminded to do that. But, in terms of me feeling it in my heart and really feeling empathetic and wanting to help, whatever, I can, like, and I mean, sometimes I'm in just a lot of love just descends into my heart when I'm meditating or doing one of these sittings or whatever, the gathering, and I want to share it with other people. I want, I have the idea that it's going into the videos, or, going, to my wife or whatever it is, right? Just radiating out, because it's supposed to be shared. Love is supposed to pass through you and go to your environment and other people and purify your house and your environment, all these things. And, these are all important things that people need to learn to do. And anybody can do it. Like, it's part of the system. And it's part of the system where you can have this idea that, the energy that the person needs is coming through you. And then, maybe you want to drop some, verbal, some verbal information. Let's say a person says, oh, I feel better talking to you. Then you say, yeah, I was, there's a connection now you have with the Gratefullness meditation. I helped you, with that. Like not even, talk too much about what you did or how it works or whatever. Just say that this is what you get when you do the Sajmark meditation. And then people are like, oh, and they could, if they understand what they're feeling better now after interacting with you, and you're like, oh, that's why. Like, that's what people, they would go around the master. They wouldn't understand that there was spiritual work being done. They couldn't see that, right? So there had to be some understanding and teaching for people that that's what the master of the system was doing. He was cleaning you and, setting you up for success, right? Like I had intentions, like all the people who were doing the Gratefullness meditation, especially in the first, so many days, that there would be connectivity, there would be connection there, they would benefit from it, and they'd be able to experience and feel it. Like you make these sankalpas, these divine wills, and you can do that, right, to help people connect. Like that's, those are what Babaji did. And, Babaji wasn't a preceptor. Babaji didn't make him a preceptor. But he was able to just do this work through having direct contact with Lalaji. And Lalaji would explain to him what to do. And there's more sophisticated work. But then there's just the general praying for people, or the general idea, whatever it is, that the person's being cleaned or whatever it is, right? Like I said, intention, in the beginning, that people would start experiencing cleaning before the gathering and before the Sunday sitting, which would open them up to better experiences, right? And, I don't know, I can't say that I can trace the effectiveness of that, but people are reporting that's effective. And so these are things that people can do. Anybody can do it, right? Who has, connection to the divine current. You certainly can pray for people. My grandmother used to say the rosary for me and my family, my brothers and sisters, and my mom. She used to say the rosary, a Catholic prayer, and I don't believe it's as effective as the prayers in the way that we do it in Saj Marg, but it was effective because my brother and I eventually found Saj Marg, right? Having, praying for you in India, they have this holiday where all the women, like the sisters, pray for their brothers, and their brothers give them like a bracelet. But it's like, a good idea when people are encouraged to pray for the other family members and things, or humanity at large. Like praying actually works, connecting to God, meditation works, and the cleaning, all these things, it works. And when people use it, like Charji once said, he was giving people a technique. He goes, I give you these techniques so you can use them. He would say things and people wouldn't use it, right? Even preceptors and things. So that's what could be done, right? When I was a preceptor, I would say force myself, but I was making, more conscious of doing that kind of subtle work, right? Rob, the preceptor I was going to for a while, via the internet, like recently, and who, I like it. It was doing a good job. On his end, it's just that the Dodgy's contaminated the heartfulness system, right? But he would give in absentia sittings where the people that came to him, every once in a while, he would give them a sitting. And he would send them like a star via text message just to let them know that they had just received a sitting. And that, preceptors could do that. Could think about Abhyasis, maybe who hadn't been there a while, and, give them a sitting just, without the person knowing, right? With just cleaning them and transmitting. And there's work that was done all the time. Babaji used to see faces like in bubbles, like there'd be a bubble and there'd be a face in it of some person in the world, and he'd transmit to the person for a few seconds, whatever it was, like not knowing what the person needed or what they, just sending them transmission. And, some whatever work was done, whatever the transmission did, whatever the person needed was taken care of. So again, it's just a matter of how you want to spend your time. Like you could, just hang out with people and talk and have a conversation and whatever, or you could, move it to a spiritual level where you're acting as a conduit and connecting to people and having the idea that, that God's connecting through you, God's transmitting through you, whatever it is, right? Like that's part of the Saj Marg system. Now it's part of the Gratefullness system because people can do it. You can always do that. Like if somebody comes to you, you can move it to a spiritual level just by having a thought that, God is like there with you. God's like in you, and the person's connected to God through your, your intentions and what you're doing there. And the person's, God's using you to give the person whatever on a spiritual level they need at that time, or whatever it might be. And so, again, that's what people have to do. It's a commitment, right? It's a commitment to how you use your time, right? You can, and I know I can do it, and I have done in the past, and, I just don't remember or care to do it, right? Like as much as I should or whatever, as much as I could. Like it's just that's the difference between me and the masters of the system, right? They've committed to doing this work. And they're really good preceptors because they're preceptors who are, all about doing these things and are serving other people, whoever they are, their family, whatever, they're constantly. And then people will flock to be around them because they receive cleaning and transmission and, whatever, and they feel better after they talk to the person, because the person is removing themselves from the equation and having God be there in their stead and do service, render service on those people. All right, so I'm going to end this one here, but these are things I'll continuously talk about. The things that people need to know about the system and how it can be used, not only to benefit yourself but benefit other people. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Spa Romano, definitely important for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.